Why hello there. How are we doing? Good? Fantastic. In this video, I will be achieving what I believe to be a simple goal, unlocking all the Tainted variations of each character in The Binding of Isaac, specifically the Repentance DLC. But firstly, before we get started, what is a Tainted? What is an Isaac? And why is he binding? To put it as simple as possible, The Binding of Isaac is a video game. You play as Isaac, a runaway child who attempts to escape his religious nut of a mother who for some reason believes that it's okay to murder your child as long as God themselves tells you to do it. It's not, but okay, you do you. Isaac is now in such a pit of sorrow as he has discovered a way to weaponize his tears to completely and utterly murder everything in his way as he descends further down each floor. Isaac may or may not also have a slight case of split personality disorder, as there are multiple different characters to play as, but they're all just Isaac in a different costume, more or less. Each character has their own little gimmicks, and some suck more than others. To progress to the next floor, you must find and mercilessly kill the boss that guards a trapdoor that Isaac will blindingly jump into, even though there could very well be a pit of rocks at the bottom and he just breaks his neck on a landing and dies. But let's not argue with the in-game logic too much, because after all, we kill things with the sheer impact of our own tears. When making your way to the boss for each floor, you must first find him. To find him, you must go through various rooms that are laid out like a maze on each floor, with the total number of rooms increasing which each floor you descend down. These rooms may be small rooms, smaller rooms, big rooms, and even Tetris rooms. These rooms usually contain enemies, pickups, little puzzles, or a combination of the three. Or you know, they just have absolutely nothing and they're just an empty room. Amazing. On your journey, you can find items that either help you turn into a literal god and crash a game, or mess your run up so much you basically die then and there. These items are split into two groups. Passive items, which are passive, and active items, which are active. Amazing. To beat the game, you must defeat one of the various final bosses that will depend on the path you take, and then you do it all again. There are many items in the game, and with the newest DLC Repentance, there is now an alternate version of every character in the game, which is just an alternate version of Isaac, but don't think about it too much. These alternates are referred to as Tainted characters, and are a pain in the ass to unlock. And I'm gonna unlock them all. Now, I wanted to mention this before I begin. I had already unlocked Tainted Isaac, Azazel, and Keeper before I decided to do any of this. And my dumbass forgot to save my recordings of unlocking Tainted Samson. But all you really need to know about them is, I did it, and now, onto the video. I had decided that the best way to decide which Tainted character to unlock was to let the game decide for me. Foolproof plan. After needing to randomize again after the game selected a character I've already got the Tainted version of right off the bat, I was given the Forgotten. Now, the Forgotten, as you can see, is Bone. He did. Sad. The Forgotten does not shoot tears like your average beta character. Rather, he wields one of his own bones as a club, and gets nice, up close and personal with his enemies. But wait, there's more. He can detach his own spirit from his skeletal frame and enter spooky ghost form. This spooky ghost form can fly around, shoot magic ghost tears that go through solid objects. However, his ghost form is chained to the bones and can only fly so far. Not good. Your health is also split between each form, with Bone Boy over here holding up to 6 Bone Heart containers that will disappear into thin air if you take damage without a red heart in them. Oof! The little ghost form, on the other hand, holds these little blue soul heart thingies and their devil heart mate. The very first run I did of the Forgotten was not a very significant one. We started off getting a coin grubber and a speed upgrade on the first floor. We then got the D10 on the next floor item room, and at this point, I already knew I was in trouble. We kill the second floor boss, and then completely ignore the devil deal. The angel deals for the win. The third floor, I make an incredibly small brain decision and basically walk into an enemy, resulting in my death.
I just died.
Well done. The next run doesn't go much better. We get through the first floor fairly effortlessly, spend my remaining soul hearts on a devil deal that wasn't really worth it, reduce my health to a solid 1, training it to a single marked rock, enter a little challenge room, 1 hit away from death, and surprise, surprise, I die again.
Ridiculously easy.
Yay. The next run sees a slight improvement. We get through the first floor with little issue and get a tears upgrade for our troubles. Thanks, Edmund. The rest of the run begins proceeding very smoothly. A farting baby friend, more health, and a speed increase. For speed. We do, however, get cucked out of a shop with a greed fight, which sucks, but we get Steam sale out of it, which gives us a 50% discount on all future store purchases this run, so not all bad. At this point, damage isn't the greatest, but I feel like the run is still winnable. We get through Mausoleum floor, needed for Dad's note, with barely any health left, and begin our ascension back up the floors we came from. This is it, the home stretch. We're so close. We can see it. We can taste it, and we die in the first room. 10 out of 10. We start another run, and this time, we get a little bit of a damage increase to get us going. Very nice. We get to the second floor, enter a curse room, open a red chest, and it's Mother's knife, which with Forgotten essentially doubles our damage. It also looks cool as hell. I'm now feeling extremely confident in this run. We are progressing through each floor extremely efficiently, with our damage easily disposing of every enemy we come across. Everything is going so smoothly. What could possibly go wrong now? No! Yep, that's right. I grabbed the run with the most potential of a success, plowed a roar in the ass, and threw it out the window. And now, we have to do it all again, with no guarantee I'll be able to get a run as good as that one. I didn't even make it to Mausoleum. This is just the best game ever. There's no contest. We grieve for our loss, and ponder what would have been had I not completely smooth-brained. But we persevere. I start a new run, and it doesn't start off too badly. But the weight of failing the last one is really bringing me down. Nothing I get on this run is seemingly very appealing to me, and my confidence is at an all-time low. I get Dark Prince's crown, but not even this can lift my spirit enough to carry me through the run. I consider maybe just resetting the run and trying again, but I'm not sure if I should hold out for a little longer in case I get something good. Luckily for me, I don't need to think for very long, as I die in the boss room anyway. At this point, I'm a little over it, and I decide to continuously restart my runs if I don't immediately get something good. This goes on for about 15 minutes. I decide to stick to a run, which doesn't last long, and I die again anyway. I restart a few more times. I also die a few more times. I restart so much in fact that it may or may not have resulted in my game crashing. But finally, after almost half an hour of constant restarting, I get the D6. And now, we can really get started. It immediately doesn't start off too well. I almost died of the first floor boss. Yikes. But we get a damage up, so it's not all that bad. We make our way through each floor, one room at a time. Not too powerful, but with enough damage and fire rate to get us through just fine. This might be the run. We defeat Mother, and gain the power of flight and enter Mausoleum. In there we gain the little extra benefit of Bookworm and are steaming towards Dad's note. Nothing's going to stop us now. We actually make it through our ascension, and using the cracked key that I had gathered earlier with zero explanation, we open the secret room and unlock Tainted Forgotten.
Tainted Forgotten. Let's go.
We did it. And it only took us 2 hours. I decided I may as well go all the way and try and beat the beast. I did not do that, unfortunately. In fact, I didn't even beat Dogma. A sad moment, but I achieved my goal, so it doesn't matter. After this small but substantial victory, I move on to the next character. We pick the character randomizer, and we are given Lazarus. Now, in comparison to the Forgotten, Lazarus is actually a fairly simple character to understand. You, as Lazarus, can shoot things with your tears. Whoa. If you get hit, you turn into a fountain of blood that, piled with God knows how many STIs, that the mere contact is all that it takes to damage an enemy that steps on it.
But there's more.
In the event of your inevitable death, you will be revived with 1 red heart and improved stats.
Yummy.
You also permanently splue your STI-riddled blood all over the place. This means that the best chance you have of winning is to immediately kill yourself and start the run properly. The run with Lazarus starts off fairly standard. We kill ourselves for the extra stat bonuses and get an extra damage boost after killing the first boss. And by the 3rd floor, we've already regained all the hearts we lost after killing ourselves, with some extra damage and fire rate. After finding a dice room, I have the choice to re-roll my character's items, which may give me better items, or may make me want to die and start again. This time, wasn't too bad. Although my stats lowered overall, it wasn't horrible. If I'm being honest, not too much of interest happens for most of this run. We make our way through each floor one by one, we do pick up an angelic prism along the way, we make our way to the mausoleum with almost full health, and just enough damage to get by. But in the final item room of the run, we are given a true gift. We are given Jacob's ladder. We pick up Dad's note and begin our ascent. We might actually do this on the very first attempt. Surely not. At this point, I have the maximum amount of hearts, being 12. All of which being red hearts, as well as an active item to give me a heart if I need. There's literally no way this can go wrong. And just like that, we've unlocked the Tainted Lazarus. This time in a little under an hour.
Amazing.
Now, to fight the bosses. Damage could be a lot better, but we're still able to get past Dogma with over half health left. It is now time to fight the Beast
And his boys.
First up is our main man, Famine, who isn't really too hard to kill. Up next is Pestilence, who takes a bit longer to kill, but it is still no match for us. It's against War when I realised that one of my items I have freezes bosses if they get hit by it, making it incredibly easier to kill them due to them being, unable to fight back. So we kill War and get a little too close to death for comfort, but we make it through the fight and fight Beast himself. I immediately remembered I had a Sun card and can use it to completely heal myself. Once again, there was no way I could lose. And I didn't. And still have half heart to spare.
Noise.
I decide to keep up the momentum of the night and give another character a go. And I also had basically just started streaming at that point, and ending the stream now would be slightly underwhelming. So we select the randomizer again, and the game decides we should play The Lost. I disagree, and we randomize again. This time, the game gives us a more reasonable character to play. Judas. Judas is also a fairly simple character to understand. He starts off with decent stats, but with some extra damage. You also start with the Book of Belial, which, after a very nice 3-room charge, increases your damage for that room.
Very nice.
Now, there is a minor setback to all of this. Judas does not start with a lot of health. In fact, he only starts with 1 heart. This was something I wish I'd remembered before blissfully walking into a curse room, getting stuck, and dying on my first attempt. Off to a great start. Now, even though Judas gets some spicy starting damage, his singular red heart that my love for taking completely unnecessary damage make things just slightly more difficult for me. All up, I actually only managed to die twice across my entire Judas haul, both of which being within 10 minutes of each other, but still not as many as I was mentally prepared for. The next run starts off quite well, and was probably the winning run due to one major key factor. I didn't immediately die, and I was able to pick up some extra health, but the main thing is I didn't die right off the bat. I also managed to find 4.5 volt in a shop, which allowed me to charge my Book of Belial with damage instead of a full room clear, and the more damage I do, the faster it charges. So I have an item that gives me more damage, and is charged faster if I do more damage, and the effects of the item stack. All I can say is,
Very nice.
after picking up a cheeky little bookworm transformation, and some more self-inflicted harm, we get a breakthrough. Edmund, the world's most benevolent god, has gifted a sealer for this run. He gives us Mother's Knife. And to top it all off, we managed to complete our guppy transformation. This run, officially, cannot go tits up. We absolutely demolish Mother and head into Gehenna Ghana. The spooky place instead of Mausoleum. That one. Anyway, we head down there and pick up Dad's note pretty easily. Pick up some extra damage, and finally, unlock Tainted Judas. We move on to Dogma, who's dead almost immediately. We get to the Beast and the 4 Horsemen, and let's just say it wasn't the hardest fight I've ever had. After a little break, we come back to unlock the next Tainted character. This time, the game picks Eden for us to complete. Eden is a bit of a funky character. You need to spend 1 token that you can earn by, to be honest, I don't actually remember how you unlock the tokens, and I can't really be asked to look it up, but you need them for each Eden run. On top of that, every Eden run is completely randomized, from starting stats, to starting items, to just how the guy looks. For our run, we get both extremely lucky and extremely unlucky. We get the mush, with the quality of the stream immediately nosediving to depths I didn't even think were possible as a result. And honestly, I didn't even know this thing existed. But no matter how bad things got, we were committing to this, and with the help of TechX, I was actually thinking that this scuffed, motion sickness inducing run might actually work. I'm going to skip over most of the footage for this run, mostly because I don't want to do anything negative to anyone watching this, but also, this is just fucked. Long story short, we end up unlocking Tainted Eden, somehow through all of this, and move on to Dogma and the Beast. At this point, the stream quality hits an all-time low, and after defeating Dogma in a grueling fight, I encounter a slight problem. I can't actually see anything. This was something I really should have seen coming, and barely got through each horseman, but unsurprisingly dying before we could even get to the Beast. But if anything, I just wanted the run to end to stop this pain. Moving on from whatever that was, I noticed that the amount of characters left to unlock is getting smaller and smaller, and the strat of letting the game pick a random character for me might not be as effective anymore. These fears are, of course, immediately thrown aside when the game picks Apollyon for me, so we'll worry about this issue another time. Now, Apollyon is another funky character. His active item is straight up the void. This active item, when used, basically consumes any item in the room with you. If it's a passive item being consumed, then you'll receive a minor stat increase in 2 categories, I think. As you can see, when I use the void to consume this familiar, I gain a slight speed and damage boost. Very nice. If it's an active item, then the next time you use the void, it'll trigger that active item's effect. As you can see with this very helpful mod I installed, every time I were to use this item here, it would deal 40 points of damage to every enemy in the room, at the cost of 1 damage or half a heart to myself. If I consume this with the void, then every time I use the void after this, the effects of blood rites would also trigger. Not a great deal, but I took it anyway. Onto the actual gameplay itself. The first run didn't go too well. I got through the first couple floors, but I just ended up dying to some maggots. And after this, my patience with the game begins to run a little thin. I restart a few times till I get a good start, and we eventually do. We managed to pick up both Lacrophagy and Compound Fracture, which has the potential to completely cover my screen in tears, and maybe even crash my game for good measure. We even managed to find Crown of Light in an Angel room, and at this point, I'm feeling like this could be an easy run. Until I learned that my ability to perform simple math has greatly diminished since I finished high school. I'm stupid. That one hurt a little. Afterwards, I go back to restarting until I can get another good start. But I'm too deflated after my incredibly smooth brain moment that easily cost me a winning run, so I can't find the will to continue and end up giving up and going to bed for the night. I come back to the next stream after a couple of days off and am ready to begin again. And after a quick convo with chat, we hit the randomizer again. And this time, it's the absolute biggest pain in my ass I think I've ever had the misfortune of playing. Now why is that, you might be thinking? Well, essentially, Jacob and Esau are two separate characters that you control at the same time. And each one has their own health, and neither of them share items with each other. The only thing, in fact, that is shared between them are coins, keys, and bombs. Literally the bare essentials. If you think that doesn't sound too hard, then keep in mind it's very easy for them to get separated, and it is very hard to avoid damage on either of them if they're separated. And also, if one dies, you both die. Well, there goes that one. The first run starts off promisingly, but I died too soon for me to be able to tell if it was actually going to be worth it. The second run actually goes much better, and I get all the way to the mother fight, but I have a smooth brain moment. You see, one of the things you need to access the mausoleum is to teleport, as that's the only way you can leave the mother fight boss room once you enter. And on the floor, before on the way to the boss, there will be a marked skull head that you can blow up that will guarantee a full card that will take you back to the start of the floor. Then you use one of the photos you picked up after defeating Mother and use it as a key to unlock the door to Mausoleum. But on this occasion, I made one extremely, unbelievably small brain moment. Even though I had found the skull and blew it up, I left the full card behind completely. So, as good as this run was, and it was probably the best run I would have gotten in a long time, as you'll see later, I couldn't possibly unlock the Tainted version of these characters. I decide I may as well see how far I can take this run while I still have the chance. I'm able to defeat It Lives and Satan relatively unscathed, however it's when we enter the dark room where everything goes out the window, curls up into a ball, and dies. Now during this run I had picked up Dead Cat, which gives me 9 lives. A very nice item if I do say so myself. But on this floor I somehow managed to lose every single life but the last one before reaching the boss. Smooth Brain didn't help at all, but it meant that I would go into the land boss fight with not only 1 life remaining, but also a single hit away from death the entire time. I still enter the boss room somewhat hopeful for a victory. Could I do it? Could I achieve this victory when the one I aimed for I let slip? No, I died in 30 seconds of the fight. Congrats to me, well done, 10 out of 10. This pain would really set the tone for almost the whole stint with these characters, as the next run didn't last too long after struggling to keep Esau from dying, because for some reason he was the one taking all the damage, which wasn't exactly ideal, and led to a less than ideal death. The next death came from an incredible display of the intelligence of man, as I, completely brain dead, blew up a tinted rock and watched as a spider jumped out of it, stopped on the floor for a few seconds, and then burrowed its way into me, killing me instantly. Sometimes, I don't know how I do it. It just comes naturally to me. The next 2 runs come to an end at the hands of our favourite walking target, Esau. The first time, I enter a boss room 1 hit away from death with Esau and at full health with Jacob. So of course the boss makes a beeline for Esau and the run ends right there. The next one, I managed to do a decent devil deal, and I try to organise Jacob and Esau to get both at once. Esau walks into the wrong item, loses all his health, and dies. Yay! So, after 2 hours of just ever-increasing pain, I just decide it's best for my ever-declining mental health to give up and play someone else. This time, I pick the character myself, and I picked Cain thinking I might have an easier time. Cain is a much easier character to play, mostly because you only need to control 1 character. Despite the fact that we almost died immediately, which would have been really awkward, we managed to get back on track and actually get some pretty good items. Not only do we get Holy Mantle, but we get Trizagon 2. Why the hell didn't I do this 2 hours ago? I easily could have avoided all the pain I had to deal with before. We pick up Dad's note, head up through the past floors and unlock Tainted Cain. This only took a little over 30 minutes in comparison to the previous character, and it's not something I was particularly fond of. But nevertheless, we defeat the beast and do something that I haven't done up to this point. Something I thought I'd never do. I made a plan for the future. My god. It wasn't a very complex plan. God no. I'm not capable enough for that. It was literally just me deciding that I was going to play Maggy next, then Eve, and that was about it for planning. But hey, it's better than nothing, I guess. So, we start off the plan laid out previously, and we go ahead with Maggy. Now, Maggy, or Magdalene, is another simple character. She starts off with an item that heals 1 red heart with a 4-room charge. And that's about it. Nice. Simple. To the point. Also, while we don't get the best of stats, I don't die immediately, so I'm able to hold out until I do get some good items. Who'd have thought? With the combination of Monstro's Lung and the completion of our Guppy transformation on this run, I'm thinking this might actually be somewhat of a pain-free experience. We enter Mausoleum with decent health and fight a crawl space, and in this crawl space, there's a black market, and in this black market, we get Stopwatch, and with Stopwatch, we get a permanent slowdown to enemy movements and attacks. How utterly convenient. Oh my god. Hell yes. We pick up Dad's note, and during our ascension, we also manage to pick up some extra damage. And we find the Mega Bean, an item that creates farts so powerful, it literally tears up the earth. But, and there's a big but, my healing item is kind of more useful to me. And so, much to the dismay of my loyal viewer in chat, I reroll Mega Bean and get Brittle Bones. I am given a possible redemption in the eyes of my viewer. If I win first try, they forgive me. I could not let him down. We continue on and reach the all-important goal and unlock Tainted Maggy, the first of the 2 planned characters, and now for the real fight. We kill Dogma while only taking a little damage, but I'm confident. We kill 1 horseman, then another, then another. The spirit of the Mega Bean is truly with us. We kill the final horseman with 4 hearts and 5 lives left. We duck, we weave, and we dodge, and eventually, we overpower. I gain the forgiveness of my chat, and I prepare for Eve. After this run, I'm confident that we can get this finished no problem. Oh, how was I wrong? Eve is another simple character, but is more risky if you want to have good damage with her early. She has an item called Whore of Babylon, which gives her a very nice speed and damage increase, but only while she is at 1 red heart or less. This means that to get the best out of her early, you need to intentionally place yourself as close to death as you can. My first few runs didn't go very well, and my naive optimism began to vanish very quickly. It took 4 deaths and around 30 minutes of playtime before I actually got something that I was able to work with. For the most part, this run was actually pretty good. I picked up Jacob's Ladder as the first item, picked up Perfection and then immediately lost it, but made up for it by picking up Inner Eye, and I was feeling confident once more. We were getting through rooms extremely quickly, to the point where I felt confident enough to do boss rush. I was just too good. Travelling through Mausoleum, however, I may have gotten rid of all of my health. Now, in my defense, at the time, I thought it was a good investment. But, yeah, it really wasn't. Damn it. Fuck. Oof. It would take another 30 grueling minutes of dying and restarting before I would get another run where I was confident, making me really regret some very particular decisions I had made previously. I pick up Chalky Milk and decide to replace my razor with Guppy's Paw to attempt to maintain at least one full red heart without sacrificing all my health and putting myself into a position where I could die very easily. These 2 items turned out to be exactly what I needed to progress with a lot less pain. I enter boss rush again, out of curiosity to see if there would be anything good, and I decided I had learned nothing from my risk-taking behaviour previously, and I pick up the D4 and completely re-roll all the items I held and... Hang on a minute. Wait, it's actually not bad? Huh, who'd have thought? Well, anyway, with this, I'm finally able to pick up Dad's note again. And, unlike the last time, I don't die in the Mausoleum or through our ascension. And finally, after playing this character for over 2 hours, I unlock Tainted Eve. I kill Dogma, but I don't get through the 4 horsemen before the beast, which I am not mad about at all. Just wanted an excuse to finally end the stream because I wanted to sleep for the night. So yeah, other than the 3 Tainted characters that I had unlocked on stream or had forgotten to save the stream, this isn't every Tainted character, as you can see. The reason for that is this video is way too long because the script I wrote for it was way too long and I didn't want to re-edit it, so I just committed to this, and now we're here with a script that's over half an hour long. So I will have to split this into 2 parts, and the rest will be done in the next video, which hopefully I can condense a bit better and won't be half an hour long. So until then, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in the next one. And maybe just maybe you wanna join me while I stream some other stuff live on Twitch. Maybe you don't have to. Maybe, just maybe, if you want. Okay, bye.